Okay, we'll look to finish up this worksheet here in this video. So let's see, I just had 3 more examples for us to do. Problem 22 says that the height of a triangle is 7 inches less than its base if the area of the triangle is 32 square inches. Find the base and the height of the triangle. Give the answers to the nearest tenth of an inch. Okay, so if there's any rounding there. All right, so we have a triangle. Here's the base and here's the height. The area of the triangle is 32 square inches. Now, by them giving me that information, that kind of suggests that we're working with just the general formula for the area of a triangle. The general formula for the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So 32 equals 1/2 the base, I don't know, but the height is 7 inches less than the base. Okay, so whatever the base is, the height is going to be b minus 7, if it's 7 inches less than the base. So this equation here would be my setup that I would need. Now remember, all the equation setups for this worksheet are going to be quadratic equations. So if you have a setup that's not in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, you probably don't have the right setup. Okay, just keep that in mind. And let's go ahead and solve for b. So if I multiply both sides by 2, 64 equals 1/2 times 2 is 1, so it'd be b. I'll distribute the b here. So you got b squared minus 7b. Okay, let's subtract 64. So you got b squared minus 7b minus 64. That's all equal to 0. Okay, and let's see, 64 is going to have lots of factors, right? So if I'm not seeing the factors, pretty much right away, the next best thing is to use the quadratic formula here. Okay, so that's what I did in this problem. B is equal to the opposite of -7 is 7, plus or minus the square root of -7 squared is 49, minus 4 times a is 1, times c is -64, and this is all over 2a, 2 times 1 is 2 in the denominator. Okay, so then let's simplify that. I'm looking at 49 minus a negative means 49 plus 4 times 64 is 256. If I add 49 to that, I get 305. So 7 plus or minus the square root of 305 all over 2. Now the square root of 305 does not break down nicely for me. So the way that I was doing the problem is actually the best way to do the problem. Like, it's not going to factor nicely for me. But if I go ahead and type in, let's do 7 plus the square root of 305, and then divided by 2, I get about 12.23. Okay, so that's going to be one of the values there. And then do 7 minus the square root of 305 divided by 2. I get -5.23. Now, one thing to point out here, so notice how I'm not typing in the whole thing all at once. You can do that, that'd be fine, but you need to make sure you get parentheses there. If I just type in like 7 minus the square root of 305 divided by 2, I'm not getting the right answer, right? Because I need parentheses around the top. So if I do parentheses, 7 minus the square root of 305 parentheses divided by 2, there, that's the same result that I was getting, okay? So that way your calculator knows to divide by 2 at the very end there, okay? Now, b can't be a negative, right? Because you're talking about distance. So you throw the negative number away. It looks like b is about 12.2, inches. And b minus 7, the height of the triangle, would be 5.2 inches, around there. Okay, so go ahead and circle that result. By the way, so whenever there's rounding, you know, make sure to use the approximation sign. Also, whenever there's story problems like what we see here, make sure that the units are included, you know, whatever they are, whether it's feet or inches or gallons or, you know, what your centimeters or whatever. Make sure that those are included, because I will be looking for those when I grade, okay? All right, let's try problem 25 here next. So in problem 25, it says Cynthia wants to buy a rug for a room that is 12 feet wide and 15 feet long. She wants to leave a uniform strip of floor around the rug. She can afford to buy 108 square feet of carpeting. What dimensions should the rug have? All right, so let's see, for this problem here, we got this rug, and we're putting it in a room that is, the room is 12 feet wide and 15 feet long, okay? And there's gonna be a uniform strip of floor around the rug, okay? So the edge of the rug to the edge of the room, we'll call that X feet. And that's gonna be the same X feet on all four sides there, okay? Let's see, so the next thing, she can only afford to buy 108 square feet of carpeting. What dimensions should the rug have? Okay, so 108 square feet is the dimensions of the smaller rectangle in the bigger one. The area of any rectangle is length times width, right? So what is the length of the smaller rectangle? Okay, well, 15 feet is the length of the bigger rectangle. Now I got X feet on this side and X feet on this side. So I'm going to have 15 minus 2X feet for the length of the rug. Okay, and then the width of the rug, well, 12 is the width of the room, right? That's not what I'm asking for. I need to know the width of the rug. So I got 12 feet minus X feet up here minus X feet down here. So you're subtracting 2X from 12. Okay, and this here would be the setup equation that I would need to solve for. When I solve for X, I'll know the distance that the rug is from the room. And once I have that figured out, I can find the dimensions of the rug, or the length and the width of the rug. Okay, so the task now is to solve for X with this equation. If we go ahead and FOIL this, right side, 15 times 12 is 180. Negative 30x minus 24x is minus 54x. Negative times negative is positive. So you got 2x times 2x, that'd be 4x squared. Okay, and then let me get everything on the one side. So I got 4x squared minus 54x. I'm going to have to subtract 108 from both sides. 180 minus 108 is 72. Okay, that's all equal to 0. Okay, that's my quadratic equation. I can make the numbers a bit nicer. All three of these numbers are even numbers, right? So I know 2 is going to go into all three of them. 4 won't go into 54. Okay, so 2 is the biggest number that I can divide both sides by. If we divide both sides by 2, we got 2x squared minus half of 54 is 27x, and then plus half of 72 is 36. Okay, that's all equal to 0. And so this is the equation that I'm solving. Okay, think factoring first. Okay, this will factor. So the factors of 2 are 1 and 2. And let's see, that's a plus 36 at the end. That's a minus 27 in the middle. So the only way for this to happen is if the signs are both negative, right? I know negative times negative is positive at the end. Negative plus negative is negative in the middle. Okay, so I'm thinking of the factors of 36. It should be 3 and 12. 3 times 12 is 36. Okay, and just to check this here, so I got 2x times x, that's 2x squared. Negative 24x minus 3x, that's negative 27x in the middle. And then negative 3 times negative 12 is 36 at the end. Okay. And then, yeah, when I set each of these factors equal to 0, and so 2x minus 3 equals 0 means that x is 3 halves. X minus 12 equals 0 means that x is 12. Okay, now x is the distance from the rug to the room. You can't have two values of x, right? So there can only be one distance. Okay, so which one is it? Well, it's not going to be 12, right? Because the entire width of the room is 12 feet. So if x is 12, then this is a trick question. That means that there's no carpet that's being laid in the room. There's not a trick question going on here. Okay, so this person bought 108 square feet of carpeting and is going to put it in the room. Okay, so x is going to be 3 halves, or go ahead and throw away the 12. X is 1.5 feet. So it's 1.5 feet from the edge of the rug to the edge of the room on all 4 sides. Okay, now they're asking for the dimensions of the rug, right? What dimensions should the rug have? Well, now I know x is 3 halves. Let's go ahead and plug that in to here and here to get the length and the width. So 15 minus 2x is 3 halves. So 15 minus 2 times 3 halves, the 2's cancel. 15 minus 3 is 12. Yeah, 12 feet that'd be the length of the rug. And then 12 minus 2 times x is 3 halves. The 2's cancel again. 12 minus 3 is 9. So 9 feet is the width of the rug. Okay, so the length of the rug is 12 feet, and the width of the rug is 9 feet. Okay, that's the dimension, that's me, my answer. Okay, let's try one more here. So problem 28 is another good one to look at. It says that a rectangular piece of metal is twice as long as it is wide. Squares with sides 4 inches long are cut from the 4 corners, and the edges are folded upward to form an open box. If the volume of the box is 1,536 cubic inches, what were the original dimensions of the piece of metal? Okay, so let's see. I got this this rectangle, this rectangular piece of metal, and I'm going to cut out the 4 corners there. They said that we're removing the 4 corners, which are squares. Each side of the square measures 4 inches. Okay, so I got 4 inches, you know, on all 4 of these squares here. And then also the dimensions of the metal. So it says that a rectangular piece of metal is twice as long as it is wide. Okay, well, if I call the width W, then the length would be twice that. So the length would be 2W. Okay, now they said that the volume of the box, when we remove the 4 corners and fold this upward, is 1,536 cubic inches. What were the original dimensions of the piece of metal? Okay, so I need to know W and 2W. Okay, but by them giving me the volume of this box, that suggests that I need to be working with the volume of any box to set this up, or just the general formula: volume equals length times width times height. Okay, the volume is 1,536 equals the length times the width times the height. Now, if I remove the 4 corners, which are sides that are 4 inches, and I fold this upward, the height of the box would be 4 inches. Okay, so what is the length of the box? Now, the length of the metal is 2W. I'm not asking for that. I need to know the length of the box. Well, if the length of the metal is 2W and I'm subtracting 4 inches on this side and 4 inches on the other side, In all, I'm subtracting 8 inches from 2W. Okay, that'd be the length of the box. What's the width of the box? The width of the metal is W. That, again, is not what I'm asking for. I need to know the width of the box. Okay, well, I'm subtracting 4 inches up top and 4 inches down under. So W minus 8 inches would be the length, would be the width of the box. Okay, so here'd be my setup equation that I have to solve for. And let's go ahead and solve that for W. If we if we divide by 4 on both sides, 1,536 divided by 4 is 384. And that is equal to, when I FOIL this out, I got 2W squared. Negative 16W minus 8W is minus 24W. Negative 8 times negative 8 is 64 at the end. Okay, and let me get all the terms onto the one side here. So if I subtract 384, 64 minus 384 is negative 320. Okay, so I get this equation. I get 2W squared minus 24W minus 320 equals 0. Okay, solve for W. Well, all three of these numbers are even numbers, right? So I can divide by 2 to start. And I'm going to have W squared minus half of 24 is 12W minus half of 320. Half of 320 is 160. Okay, and so then this should factor nicely. So I got W and W. The factors of 160 to give me negative 12 would be negative 20 and 8. Okay, 20 times 8 is 160. And negative 20 plus 8 is negative 12. Okay, so let me check this here. I got W times W, that's W squared. 8W minus 20W is negative 12W in the middle. That looks good. And then negative 20 times 8 is negative 160 at the end. That looks good. So again, if I'm not seeing how this is factoring, use the quadratic formula. Okay. So then I set each of these factors equal to 0. W minus 20 equals 0 means that W is 20. W plus 8 equals 0 means that W is negative 8. Okay, W is the width of the metal. It can't be a negative. That doesn't make any sense for what we have. Okay, so it looks like the width of the metal is going to be 20 inches, and the length of the metal would be 2 times that, so it'd be 40 inches. Okay, so the dimensions of the metal would be 20 inches by 40 inches. Okay, the homework problems are on this worksheet here. I'd like you to look at those. The answers are all on the back there, so you can check the answers and see if you're correct or not. And we'll go ahead and stop right here.